So on the off night, we are filling a request here from Ben going back to 1996 in British Columbia. The last requested show we got, another first show for a fan, was 11/24/96. Oddly enough, and I had to look this one up here. The first thing I noticed was Catapult. I was like, oh yeah, that's gonna be a banger. Anytime you saw Catapult back in those days, like the other night they tried to pull that move with Walk Away. Walk Away is another one of them. You see it on the set list. Must have been a good set. Catapult, you're not being lied to in 1996. But we'll get back here to the beginning, and then most of the first set, everything. I know the word standard sometimes may come off as a negative, but everything was pretty much played how it should be played, like on the album. Divided Sky, exceptional. But we got started with Chalk Dust Torture, no room for improvisation here. Just rocking through Chalk Dust, and then one of Trey's favorite songs, Guelah Papyrus, as he mentioned one time in an interview, and then Cars, Trucks, and Buses, getting Paige McConnell going. So there's a good start off to the show, really, with that trio, and then we get into Divided Sky. Like I said, a very, very good Divided Sky. Just all the turns, man, just right on it. And then Punch You in the Eye. Oddly, it just felt like, we're so used to now Punch You in the Eye. Kind of, I don't know, man. Just felt really weird right in the middle of the set. But again, we'll take it. And now we're on to Midnight on the Highway. I wasn't sure what the deal was with this song. It's a Hot Rise song. Mike Gordon taught it to the band while they were stopped at the border. They, alluded to over here in Makisupa. Apparently they had some issues at the border. They were stuck there for quite a while, long enough to where Mike was able to teach them a song. He had been recently playing with a trio. Gordon Stone and another guy and Mike were out on the road, and this was a song they had been playing. And it, only one time ever, I guess because it was fitting. I think Trey may have mentioned, we wrote this or we played this, learned this just for you guys up here in Clearly, Canada. And then, we get a Split Open and Melt. And it was still, the chaotic melt that we know today. Followed that up with a riff. Well, the melt, probably another. I shouldn't just jump right past the melt. One of the highlights of the first set, along with the Divided Sky. But then it did just feel a little bit weird that they were just ripping through all the songs. Riff, nicely played, funky bitch, ending the set, rocking out, Mike Gordon style. But then over here's where the party really starts. And in 1996, I'm sure the OJ show was still fresh on the mind. And then let's do an audience recording. You could really hear the eruption when they went from Mike's into Simple. People were very excited for Simple. People still are for Simple, but I feel like this may have been Simple's heyday. And Curtin started things off before we got into the Mikes. And boy, back then Mike's song was really Mike's song. And then the Simple is when Paige started to show up. Not a lot of Paige, man. Sort of just really low-key Paige. We're used to him taking off, early and often. Really took until Simple to really notice Mr. McConnell. Well, Cars, Trucks, and Buses, obviously. But then, just fitting into the songs, and I guess there's just not a lot of jamming, I don't know, man. It's weird going back and doing these old shows. And then Makisupa, like I said, that's when they referenced being stopped at the border. Trey, apparently they let a dog on the bus. Got Trey's dank. Dank, that was a very 1996 term, dank. And then we get a smoking Axilla. Did Axilla 2 even exist yet? Probably in 96, right? I don't know, but clearly it was Axilla. And then we get a Weekapaug to end up in the Mike's groove here. So you get a simple Makisupa Axilla in the middle of your Weekapaug, and then, or your Mike's groove. The Weekapaug also, obviously, man, it was 1996. You think the Weekapaug was going to let you down? And then here was your clue. If you didn't hear it and it was awesome, like some fans, I wonder if they even know what they're hearing. Some fans probably say that about me. But in case you didn't know, they hit you with a catapult, a very strange catapult. Maybe the most improv part of the night was this catapult. Sounded like maybe a gangbang going on. Maybe Paige had that weird thing that he does, that little theremin or whatever. I don't know if he had that back in 1996. Definitely sounded like Trey on percussion. I don't know if Mike was involved or not. I feel like he probably was. But somehow, some way, Trey has a sound on drums. Don't ask me how, but I was like, that's Trey playing drums. I know it is. It's got to be. So then we get a Waste, Amazing Grace, and then Hood into the set strong, kind of just like it would nowadays. So the Hall of Famers, Hood, Weekapaug, Mike's, Divided Sky, Melt, all delivering like the Hall of Famers that they are. Then we get a Good Times, Bad Times encore. I don't really know why. It was pretty much all good times. Unless you hate Cars, Trucks, and Buses. Oh, no. The bad times were at the border, I guess. The man got Trey's dank. That's a bad time. You're headed to Canada. Don't have the clearly Canadian tonight. What the hell's that drink I had last night? I don't even know what the fucking name of it is. All right, guys. It's just hard going back. Ben, thank you so much for your interest and requesting a show and buying the whiteboard. I appreciate it, but I might have to call a halt on these going back to the 90s right in the middle of the tour. It was weird, man. It was weird, man. All right, guys. Boom. We're out of here. We'll see you tomorrow, man. All right. All right. And that Golgi maybe not as bad as I thought. I listened to it again. I think I had declared it as total ass. It was just okay.